There's been a lot of conversation, I guess you could say, about who's to blame, what's to blame, and why. And a lot of it, from our news media especially, well, they seem to think that Trump's to blame. There was a CNN anchor recently that went on and said,
And the reason that we're in the crisis that we are today is not because of anything that China did, is not because of anything the WHO did. It's because of what this president.
how do you figure? Did he invent this virus? Did he spread it? Did he cause it? Did he push this global pandemic? Or are you just bitching about things you think you can control? And, well, we all know CNN's pretty bitter right now after the roasting they got at the press briefing. Of course, they spun it, and much of the news media backed them up in trying to spin it, thinking that people wouldn't watch the press briefings when they're all on YouTube now. The White House has their own YouTube channel. So they put those things up there unabridged. No cuts, no edits, no nothing. So this press briefing was actually 2 hours long, and they took two clips worth about a minute and a half to try and spin the narrative out of 2 hours worth of content. Two hours. I haven't finished watching it myself, but I did watch the spicy parts. So which means that all they really watched was the beginning, because the two spicy parts that they're talking about are at the beginning of 2 hours. But I digress. They're looking for someone to blame. I personally blame the WHO and China, particularly. Well, I just heard on the news, I don't know if it's true or not, but there is new evidence that suggests that this particular virus came out of a lab that was originally used to study viruses and try to stay ahead of us on like the CDC work, preventing the spread of disease and whatnot. And their lack of controls and regulations and standards, I guess you could say, caused a pandemic. So it escaped from this lab in Wuhan and went to everywhere. So not necessarily the wet markets are to blame. I wonder if this is true or not, because they'd really love to keep those wet markets open. They love them. I find it disgusting, but only because they're selling like cooked dog, like they fry the dog right there. It's repulsive. It's disgusting. Anyways, so that was originally a conspiracy theory, and one of the Republicans, I can't remember who at this point in time, said that about a month ago, saying, there's some evidence that we think there might be here, but we're going to keep our minds open and just see what comes. We're going to investigate. That was spun as a conspiracy theory, defended China. All the news outlets defended China, and that was the end of it. So I'm like, okay, I too will keep an open mind because I don't trust the media, which I'll get to in a second. I got something new to give everybody on that particular issue. But so now there's evidence of that, but everybody's still defending China. I've had several conversations on multiple platforms of people defending China, saying the WHO never lied. The WHO didn't do anything wrong. China did everything in their power. This is all Trump's fault. I look in their bios. I look what I can look. Either you can't see them, they don't exist, so that suggests to me that they're a bot, or they're hiding their profile on purpose, or they have opinion in their bios. And if you don't know what opinion is, it's the traditional writing of the Chinese. It's not in English. It's characters. So I see that in their bylines. I'm like, do they have a vested interest to protect their own interests by defending China? Were they paid to? Because they could be members of the Communist Party. They could be hired and paid to defend their honor. I don't know how they'd pay him, though. Free raffle tickets to the wet markets? That'd be pretty interesting. But, yeah. Why on earth are they defending him? And then I saw some very interesting stuff. Apparently, Hillary Clinton defended the WHO, saying that this organization is a great place. I seem to remember in 1996, the year I graduated high school, just to throw my age out there, there was a grand election campaign finance conspiracy, as it were, because no one could prove it, because no one's nailed the Clintons to the wall for anything. There was a conspiracy that she was receiving money from China. Well, not she, it was actually for her husband. Receiving money from China for the elections that they won. And it actually led to some new finance laws allowing other governments through various means to give people money. But that's neither here nor there. It happened, and there's evidence of it. So, yeah, like I can trust Clinton in any of what she says. She probably received money from the WHO. She probably donates to the WHO. But who knows, right? Anyways, so the WHO, I'm dead set against them. They pretty much were proven liars. On the 14th, I think I covered this in another video. On the 14th, they said to the world that there is no evidence of human-human transmission according to China. They reported what China told them. Nothing to see here. Don't worry about it. No investigation. They're supposed to be the World Health Organization. You're supposed to question these type of things as medical professionals. You didn't. You just took China's word for it and rolled on. 8 days later, we had our first case of this virus in the United States. If it's not transferable between humans, that should not be possible at all. So in 8 days, they were proven liars. That means China lied at that point. But here's the fun part. The media at that point, as you may or may not have seen in Trump's press briefing, lied to the world, saying this is nothing to fear. Don't worry about it. The flu is more important. This is what they told us. And everybody believed it. Hell, even I believed it at that point in time. I was like, there's nothing to worry about. You guys are panicking over nothing. Calm the fuck down. I was wrong. But at any rate, I want to get on to the media and their coverage of this in particular. Because they've spun the narrative inside these 3 months so drastically that a lot of people have been able to see it, and then when they recaptured the narrative by not airing the truth and just clipping it as they usually do, people got to see exactly what everyone else was talking about. A glimpse. Not the full thing, just a glimpse. To which I wonder, how many of these people have Stockholm Syndrome? It's akin to watching these people, the people that retweet, redo whatever CNN and whatever people say. The people that do that seem to have Stockholm Syndrome. It's like watching a domestic abuse victim defend why they're still with the person beating them. That's what it's like watching. I don't quite understand it. I don't really get it. Why on earth would you keep trusting a liar? It's akin, like, that's the new one. It's like watching a domestic abuse victim explain why they're still with their abuser. I did say also that it's like watching someone explain why they're still with the person that cheated on them. Because it's not as, lying is not as drastic as getting beaten. But, I mean, that's what the media does. It wasn't me, right? It wasn't me. That was my previous video. And anyways, I couldn't help but notice that all of a sudden these people coming out of the woodworks and defending China. Why the fuck would you defend that? I mean, I love China. Don't get me wrong. As far as the culture is concerned, well, parts of it. I mean, I did Kung Fu for 20 years, for hell's sake. I learned Chinese so that I could speak with the Chinese elders of Utah. I used to perform the lion dance years on end. Every year we'd have 40, 50 shows inside of like a month and a half, thanks to Chinese New Year, or the Lunar New Year, whatever you want to call it. Hell, I still perform kung fu for the Asian community in Houston because I'm asked to. It doesn't go away. I practice still. I watch a lot of their movies and other cultural aspects. Hell, I even like the food, except for the wet markets. But I don't like communism. That part of their culture can go rot in hell. It's oppressive. And a lot of the movies that you see, they're always talking about oppression and fighting against it. Well, where's their fight? They're allowing their government to trample all over them. The first people that wanted to report out this particular virus got thrown in jail or just simply disappeared. Like, you will never see them again. What kind of a government does that? Apparently Trump's government does that, according to some fucking people. But that those people are also stupid, so what do you expect? Anyways, you'll see a lot of these conversations. Why are people defending this? Screw them. And the WHO. The WHO is complicit in this too. They could always backpedal and say, oh, we were just reporting what we were told. That's not your fucking job, dude. Your job was to investigate and report the truth. And you failed. Miserably. And now all of us are on lockdown. All of us are suffering. And the economy that pretty much runs the world is in shambles because of the WHO and China. It's like they want us to become communist by destroying the rest of prosperity the rest of us enjoy. We can't get back to bitching about our first world problems about feminism and gender equality and trans rights, and all that shit kind of disappeared real quick, didn't it? Because they're first world problems. Now we're facing third world problems. Weird how that works out. Anyways, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I noticed that YouTube really hates new people that talk like this, so do what you can. Let other people know, because no one else is, especially YouTube. Since they changed the algorithms, zero growth is a reality for anybody just starting out. Unless you're doing makeup tutorials or stupid cat videos or some other shit that is pointless. Yeah. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Master, well, can you tell me who has right on their side?
Right is right, wrong is wrong. Who is in the right or who is in the wrong cannot be judged without proper knowledge.